from self-discovery to unapologetic passion, from inner strength to outward influence. It's Your Turn charts the journey of empowerment. Welcome to our series, where the book comes to life. In each episode, we explore a chapter's wisdom through real stories. We uncover the strategies that turn potential into power. And we witness how one woman's journey can inspire countless others. Prepare to see yourself in these pages and voices. Because with every story, we're reminded, it's your turn to write the next chapter.
Welcome to this episode of Book Interviews. And today I am thrilled to have Masami Sato with me. Masami was born in Japan, but her desire to expand her horizons took her on a global journey. She became deeply concerned about the inequalities and other challenges that existed in the world. And since then, she has endeavored to create real win connections across all cultures, people, and organizations to realize a different world. She has been a serial entrepreneur since 2001, starting and running several commercial enterprises, all aiming to transform the way businesses are operated today. And by taking a completely new look at the power of giving, she founded Buy One, Give One in 2007. Masami's approach to life is very different. She brings a new, almost upside down strategy to everything she does. And she also radiates it through her writing and speaking. She has authored 4 books, including Joy, The Gift of Acceptance, Trust, and Love, Giving Business, Creating the Maximum Impact in Meaning-Driven Worlds, and Better Business, Better Life, Better World. Masami's career has followed her diverse talents and skills, having been a teacher, a translator, a natural food chef and farmer, an author and award-winning entrepreneur, as well as a mother of 2 teenage children. She's a 2-time TEDx speaker and frequently invited to international events, podcasts, and interviews like this one. So welcome, Masami. You can understand why I'm so thrilled. It's such a pleasure to meet you again in the context of my book. How are you doing?
Thank you, Helena. And yeah, it's great to be here. And congratulations on the work that you are doing with the book.
Thank you so much. It's so encouraging and uplifting to be able to co-create this book because it is documented with the stories of amazing women like you. So I just love co-creation. I try to deploy it in everything that I do. So I am so grateful that you are here. And I wanted to talk to you about part 3. Part 3 of my book, It's Your Turn. We are assessing our empowered self. And when we dive into chapter 2, it's about rewriting the rules in your career. And this is something very important for a lot of women in organizations, in businesses, because this chapter is exploring how we can challenge the norms and reshape our professional paths and create meaningful change in our careers and beyond our careers. So I'd love to explore your unique perspective on challenging professional norms and pursuing purpose-driven work. So let me start with the first question, and that's, how would you describe your experience with assessing norms and unwritten rules and potential limitations within your professional paths?
Oh, wow. Before heading into professional path, I think what you just asked is very relevant for me at a personal level too, because I actually grew up in the country, Japan. That's my native country. In Japan, actually, these unspoken rules and the different expectation, and that is actually like very ingrained in our everyday lives. And of course, at work, that's there every day. I find that over the years, when I started to travel and experience the things in so many different countries, and also I worked in different companies, different places, in different countries, I experienced this like very different set of norms and expectations that existed in different places, right? So I had to continuously learn and calibrate what's there and to try to fit in, right? And then meet the expectation or not offend the people. So naturally speaking, as a Japanese, my tendency is to try to exist in harmony. And because of that, these unspoken expectation and rules were a very important part of how I operated to date. But then at the same time, I think there are other downside of being constrained by unspoken rules. And sometimes unspoken rules exist without being questioned. As a whole, people believe that that's how it should be. And then you go with that. But because of the fact that when those unspoken rules were established in the past along the way, situations were actually different from today. So carrying on with the same understanding, same expectation, same unspoken rules, like often don't serve as well. So it's actually for me, the continuous, it is really a continuous learning and the calibration to really understand what are the essence of unspoken rules and why those things exist. Because if you understand the why, rather than just how you would fit with it or not offend or not cross any red tapes, and if you understand the real why, you might come up with actually better way forward. And because you are not judging, if you don't come with judgment of, oh, that's bad or that's useless. So if you come with judgment, then you actually battle with people who stick with status quo. So that's why I learned that actually, if you remove judgment and just to be curious and just to try to understand the whys, often we see new picture, and bringing people on the journey together with us or ourselves transforming with a better possibility that those things become easier.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I also understand that a lot of women, also the women I work with in my coaching practice, they're actually very often not really questioning the why. They just feel confronted with a certain limitation, or sometimes they just are not really aware of it. They just feel this uncomfortability, or they just feel that they cannot breathe fully. Sometimes they even feel depleted because they try to fit in, but it's not who they really are. There's so much expectations in organizations that we try to adapt and that we try to adopt, but that's not really allowing us to be our authentic self or also bring to the table our unique gifts and talents. And so starting to question the why is a very strong one. So what about when you are questioning the why and you find that these rules or these norms are actually absolutely not serving us because they have been installed in an era where they might be useful, but right now when you see how we do business, because doing business has changed over and is still changing dramatically with all the new revolutions and evolutions. So then what? Because we don't want to be confrontational, we don't want to be in conflict. We as women try to avoid the difficult situations something. So how do you deal with those rules that are not serving us anymore and that are limiting us?
I think how to approach it, I don't have a magic bullet to say this is how you approach it in every situation. And also different individuals and different people with different quality actually approach things differently. Because for some people, right, humor may be the way to go. Not to be too serious about things and just to make things actually more joyful and lighthearted and can laugh about the things, then that might be the way for them to create a positive change in the places where like fixed norm exists. So some comedians are awesome at saying the truth, like a real truth about something that it's like so controversial. But somehow, because everybody laugh at that joke, because we get that point, like that is actually talked in the kind of way to make things feel more lighthearted and funny. So that might open people's eyes. But the thing is, if you say that this is the way to do it, and the people who are not necessarily natural with joking and being humorous will try to use the joke to actually laugh at things, then that could potentially upset some people, right? So actually, there is no kind of like a single way, because sometimes being frank, being candid, and being straight to the point and being able to stand for the truth or being strong or committed, or so those kind of approach might work too, but it's not always. And I think though, what works in this is not about the tactic that we use to make change, create a change, but it's about the intention. And if, let's say, our intention in bringing ourselves, like a unique being of us, to the situation comes from love. So whether it's being humorous or whether being very direct, if where we are coming from is from the place of love, then we carry the truth of who we are, and we would bring our love to the conversation, whether it is a difficult conversation, whether it is becomes emotional, vulnerable, or more diplomatic, like wherever it is, it's so easy to go like, oh, these people wouldn't understand, like they are not open-minded, or they don't get it. We have a different opinions. Oh, no point to talking about it because they're not going to understand this point of view. Or so if we are coming from disconnect or judgment, then whatever the tactic we try to use to address that or try to convince people, it's not going to get through. But if how we are bringing ourselves is from the point of love and humility and willingness to understand a totally different viewpoint, even if we have an opinion, our opinion may be wrong. And so when we have that and we communicate, we share our dilemma, talk about the struggles. When we can do this, actually, surprisingly, most people are okay about it, okay about your point of view, okay about things. They might actually talk about their point of view in vulnerability, or they might have some past stories that made them think this way or that way. Or so I think as human beings, there are so many things that we share in common, but because often we start from the point of view that we are different, we're not going to see eye to eye. This person would not understand my idea, or so. This is how like we end up missing the opportunity for actually bringing more magic into the situation and open up more opportunity.
That's beautiful. That's extremely powerful, Masami. I really like that. In the book Conversations with God, it is said that everything that we do is driven either by love or by fear. And what you are saying is that we can develop this intention and this mindset, I would say heart set of love, because love is also including kindness and empathy and curiosity also for the point of view of others. So it's very inclusive. It's extremely inclusive. And if I may say, these are genuine feminine qualities and feminine leadership qualities. I'm not talking about gender. I'm talking about the femininity we have inside of us. Men also have them. And where we tend to where we tend to have our masculine qualities like our goal setting and competition and achieving overrule all these beautiful capacities and gifts and strengths that we have that you could like frame in one concept of love. And I love that you bring it like that, because this is not about, like you say, tactics or strategies. It's about how you show up at the table. And that is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So when you do that and you do so much purpose-driven work, it's like the red thread in your career. How does that work nourish your fulfillment as a human? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
When we first started the initiative that we run today, B1G1, at that time, the concept of a type of companies like social enterprise or so that didn't exist so much in the world. So we just purely had the genuine intention to deliver this special service and mechanism to businesses so that they can do good in the world. So we had that intention, and we weren't the kind of thinking that, oh, because this is starting from the social mission, so this is a good thing. Or it was just a genuine sense of wanting to create something magical. And with a fundamental belief in how amazing it would be if we could actually create a place where businesses and individuals and causes around the world can come together to make a difference together through the small everyday actions. So that was how we started. Of course, on the day-to-day, most of the time, we love our work and we love the people we work with. And we are so lucky to get to actually work with people like you, Helena, as well as many other amazing people, right? So I think when you have this sense of purpose and the connection with what we are doing, so it's not about how to maximize the profit. And I think businesses should have that. Like at work, we should be thinking about the outcomes. We should be thinking about the financial outcomes. We should be thinking about the development and growth and the commercial outcomes. So all these things are important indicators of how well we are on our path. But sometimes we get blinded by these indicators so much that we lose the passion in the core belief of why we are doing what we are doing. Yeah, so I think I'm very lucky to have the sense of connection and purpose with our work. But then at the same time, when I compare what I'm doing today and what I was doing with my previous jobs and businesses before, actually there isn't too much difference. So for example, before B1G1, I was running a food company. And it was a normal business, right? Even though we wanted to make a difference with the food business, but still it was a business. Every day we were producing a product and we were selling the product. But actually, it's not, what I realize now is that it's not really about what it is that we are doing that makes the greatest difference. If we are running a charity, would I feel happier? Compared to running a business, then that in itself is not the defining point. I think the purpose exists in every action. Purpose exists in every form of delivery of what we are doing. But seeing the meaning in what we are doing is sometimes difficult. Of course, today, my company and social enterprise, and we also have a charity entity. It's easy to say we are doing good things, so we should feel happy every day or feel more rewarded every day. But that's not the case sometimes, because on the day-to-day, we would have issues, right? Sometimes, oh, well, the system, there's an issue with our system and we need to firefight. Or so when those things happen, it's so easy to get hung up with those things. And then we lose the sense of appreciation for each other and the connection to the mission and purpose. So actually, this ability to connect with our purpose on a day-to-day is available for all of us, regardless of what we are doing. And then when we find the way to connect to that purpose, then it will take us to the path of greater possibilities that also maximize the connection and expression of who we are with that purpose. Yeah, so I think that's a kind of interesting question for me, because most people might think that, oh, she would be very purposeful because of the work. But I think being purposeful with anything that we do will help us to find a way to evolve our work in a purposeful way as well.
I understand. That so resonates with me, Masami, because I guess that when we think of why are we here, what is our purpose? I guess for a lot of us, it is to create a better place, to make this world a better place when we leave it and when we arrived here, right? And when we look at the world, especially right now, it's not exactly a very good place for everybody, and especially women and children are really suffering. And then how we fill that purpose, how we really try to achieve that is very different. I do the same thing, but in a different way than what you are doing. But the thing is that this purpose is always there. And it's like our inner compass, it's like our inner guide. And what I experience is that, of course, we have our issues, and we are talking about planet, people, purpose, profit. And all these elements need to be represented in what we are doing. If not, we don't have a viable business, and we're out of business in the end. So this is basically not contributing to the better world either. Although I feel that having this purpose makes it sometimes easier to go through the burdens of running the business and having your internet that is not working, or having to have difficult negotiations, or losing an important client or business partner or whatever. It makes it, you know why you are going through this, and you're ready to do to go this extra mile. And it is also easier to get your stakeholders on the same platform, basically. When I look at women that are in corporate at executive level, I have the feeling that sometimes it is more difficult. And I understand that you can also develop a purpose, even if it is only for your department, for the department or the team that you are responsible for. But there, sometimes we run into that wall of corporates with actionnaires who want to profit, who want their quarterly results reported in a positive way. If not, stocks go down and things like that. So I think there's a difference there. And yet this purpose there also can be developed, right?
Of course. And I think nowadays things are starting to change, even in the larger
Finally.
company. Yeah. I think what's happening is that businesses are realizing the importance of really retaining and nurturing the talent inside, because long time ago, people believed that if you get a job at reputable large organizations and you stick with it, you got happy retirement, and you would just suffer like decades until you have the retirement. And there are people who would follow that path. But nowadays, young people are actually really questioning much more about the purpose of life. And they are not going to sacrifice decades of their life with the company that they are not inspired by. And more people are not only motivated by the money and the compensation and the security, more people are being motivated by the opportunities to grow, opportunity to experience life, opportunity to be with family, opportunity to have a freedom to experience and learn. And so I think businesses are starting to see the investment toward the purpose, investment toward the social good, investment toward retention and engagement and nurturing of team members and their well-being and their joy at work. This is a new time now that there is still, yes, difficulty created by the status quo of the structure, but structures are starting to dissolve. And it can be disrupted very easily because of the development of technology, social media connectivity, availability of information, and openness of communication, as well as AI. I guess we all need to accept the fact that the human beings are all after purpose and you're yearning for love and connection, real connection. So organizations and the structure need to actually embrace that and then start making that change to harness the real power of human, because a lot of other work, like lower value items, the repeatable process and systems can be replaced by AI, robot. We don't need a human being to continue to do those things, but we need to have a human being to be the expression of who we are. And in that case, having the purpose as the common language to attract the people to work with, attract the people to do business with, that is actually inherently critically important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you say, I do believe that basically there's this, like you say, yearning for belonging, yearning to be able to contribute, and also the need for self-actualization is something that is seen a lot more clear also by younger generations. And also I see it with I would say more mature executives. This is basically also empowering their personal navigation. They make different choices. They say no to certain things. They don't stay with the same company for the rest of their lives, especially not if there's like conflicting values. So there's a lot more of these, I would say, like frictions where organizations have no other choice than to address them and to see if they can also become organizations that are focusing on all the piece instead of only focusing on this profits. Because although it's of course very important in terms of continuity. If you
Yes.
only focus on profit, it's not sustainable for the people within because we have different needs. And I feel that the level of consciousness is raising. Like, why are we here? It is about relevance. And how do we contribute to that relevance by the work that we are doing? And you as an entrepreneur, you have a lot more control of that because you are defining and designing your work and your organizations. But more and more people also in the bigger organizations want to do that. They want to be involved in how they define their professional role. Yeah. Still, there's a lot to do there. We're not there yet, right? So when you look at your own career or professional track, what helped for you to overcome constraints? Because we all have constraints. We all have struggles. We also sometimes have like personal limitations. Okay, this is not our zone of genius, and now we have to get through this in order to thrive or have our business thriving. What helped for you? What inspired you, or who inspired you?
Mm. Actually, I think, as you said, we can't do everything. We can't be everyone. We can't be good at everything, right? So for me, what made a difference along my journey is definitely the connection with others. And somehow I've been always very lucky and fortunate in terms of the type of people who I got to work with. And it's really about the essence of actually the greatest joy of work is the creativity and development and collaboration of individuals. And the fact that we get to actually deliver on something that is bigger than ourselves. Yeah, to me, everywhere I went, because I was just willing to get my hands dirty and do things. So I actually got to do so many different things, right? And then also eventually as an entrepreneur myself and starting a business from scratch, I had to do everything in my company as well. And now we have a team who actually do different, take charge of different elements of the day-to-day. And so I'm very lucky to have continuously had the opportunity to work with some amazing people. And yeah, so I don't think there was no any specific magic potion that I developed myself because this is really about learning with people and something that I wasn't good at. As long as I was willing to actually go and then seek advice or opinion or help, there were always people who were willing to help. So yeah, so the mindset of being on a journey, knowing that you are not perfect, and being willing to actually seek people's input. And also in the work that we do at the B1G1, we don't pretend to have the answer to all of the challenges or limitations, right? By actually being able to talk to some of our members and partners, and those are our clients in a sense as a business. So normally what businesses will worry about is to figure it out by themselves. Oh, we are the expert in designing a perfect product. So you would go and then develop this perfect product and then give that to your customers and serve your customers. So that's one way to do business. But another way to do it is to see your client and customers as your almost like partners for doing something greater. Because then if you involve your customers, if you involve your clients in the dialogue to make things better, then often those people are actually very happy to share things with you or even come and help you. And so the kind of fixed expectation that we often establish, oh, we are business, so we need to do this and we need to be always perfect. Or, but then if you actually see it a little differently, that this is us together, then you could harness so much more. So I feel like some of the people that I got to learn from, my mentors and the people who support our work, like we are connected with some extraordinary people, but that's not because we were doing extraordinary things and we were impressive, but it was because we had the curiosity and ambition and the desire to do good by harnessing the power of collective.
Yeah. This chapter is about rewriting roles in your career. And what you are telling, you have been rewriting the rules. And you just gave so many examples of how you are rewriting the rules. And with the rules, the things that are like standard norms in how we do business and how we try to drive our career forward, things like that. And it is so amazing that you say, I was lucky. And you are not the first woman that I'm interviewing here for my book that says that. And I would like to say, Masami, you are not lucky. You are not. It's a very humble way to express yourself. But for me, this is not a question of luck. This is a question of intention. This is a question of consciousness. And by living a purposeful life intentionally and consciously, you attract positivity in the world. And I think it's very important to state that, if I may, not to go against you that you are lucky, but because I hear people watching this or reading this, I hear them say, yeah, you see, she was lucky. I'm just not that lucky. And there I say, no, you can also be that lucky, because it is about how you show up in the world, how you connect with yourself, how you connect with others, how you connect with the universe, and what you want to bring in the world. And if you can have that mindset shift, if you can have that open heart, and if you can have that purposeful interaction with other people, then you also will get lucky, because you will just attract that in the universe. Does that make sense? And do you allow me to put it like that? Because I absolutely also want to acknowledge you and to validate you and so many other amazing women, that this is about how they show up. And this is what my book is about. Like, we can change that, and we can all become lucky to be surrounded by amazing people, to co-create, to find joy in what we do professionally as well as personally. Do I make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And then like it's all sound, if we bring the positive attitude and gratitude to our everyday, and this is how we show up, then yeah, of course, it makes sense. But then I also can understand the struggles of people, that some days it doesn't feel like it. You feel lonely, you feel the struggle, you feel the pressure, you feel you are stuck. And then there are those days that exist. And even knowing that coming with love, coming with positive perspective, curiosity is the way to go, sometimes we get stuck. And
Mm,
I think on those days and times of life, and just knowing that when we cannot see our effort and struggles and connections connecting in the amazing way in the future, not to worry, like we don't need to worry about it, because one day we will. And
mm,
if we look back, there were so many moments in the past that were challenging and we had issues, we were stuck. But then often years later, we actually look back and go, oh, without that happening to my life, I wouldn't be here today. And there were always something that we can be grateful for. So if we think about what we are grateful for today, there were lots of struggles and challenges that existed in our past, that because of those things, we are here today. And so on those days that we feel discouraged, we don't feel inspired, motivated, actually it's okay to not judge ourselves, not over try. And sometimes all we could do is to let go and be okay. Okay, this will pass. One day we will really see the reasons behind all of this happening to us right now. Yeah, so I think I definitely agree that many people who recognize their luck, that happened because of perhaps their attitude and the mindset in life. But then
mm.
also knowing that all of these people who may seem to be impressive in our eyes also have their own struggles and also had those days that they felt stuck.
Yeah. Absolutely. We all have these. Absolutely. I like your quote, organize your luck, because that's what we do. And I also like that you bring up that also the people that look very successful, like in everything they do, they also have their struggles. They also have their bad days. Absolutely. And we are in this world, especially with social media, where everything is brought to the outside as bright and beautiful and easy, and it's not. And we tend to compare with that, and then that's one of the reasons why we'll sometimes feel like we are not capable. And to me, the only way that we can use comparison is where we are now towards where we were like last year or 5 years ago, and see how we have grown. And in my book, I noticed that I use the word journey a lot, but it's very difficult to find another word, because this is what we have. It's our journey, and it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And also, it's not linear. It goes all the way sometimes, but then when we look back at what we did where we were 3 years ago, then we see that there is growth. If we live intentionally, if we live consciously, there's always growth.
Mm.
Always.
Mm. Oh, actually, you said the word journey is like a really good metaphor of life, right? I want to suggest one more word that might be
Yes,
interesting metaphor.
please.
Yeah, so this one is slightly different from journey, but I would sometimes refer to a game.
Okay.
Okay,
Explain, please.
so so when we play a game, so you imagine playing a game as a child with other kids. When we play a game, what happens is there is a beginning in the game and ending in the game. And then there's a set of rules for that particular game we get to play.
Mm,
And there is advancement and going backward or sideways or gaining points or losing points along the way. And then we are doing this together with others. And so if we compare this with life or with even business, there are many things in common, such as there is a beginning in life and end in life. There's a beginning in a business and end in a business, or completion in a business. Right? And then there are sets of rules. There are many sets of rules in depending on where you are, where you go to school or work or cultural norms, and there are many sets of rules, or in business, and we are all learning to try to get better at playing this game. And sometimes we gain points, sometimes we lose points, sometimes we send backward and go, oh my gosh, we lost all the points. And so this is very similar to life.
yeah.
But then there's another dimension which makes it even more similar to life, which is that the real purpose of playing a game is to enjoy.
Yeah.
The real purpose is not to win the game.
Yeah.
You can win the game, but you know that the points you gained in the game cannot be taken away with you beyond
Mhm.
the game. So it's end. And at that point of time, what you would be left with is the satisfaction and enjoyment of the game, as well as the connection that you formed with the people you got to play the game with.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
If you don't enjoy it, and if you don't have a connection, it's not worth playing. And we then say, then look for another game.
right, because we are living our life and we are immersed into this, we get so serious about the game.
Hmm.
And we sometimes people might try to get like shortcut or even cheat to try to get more points so they could win.
Hmm.
But ultimately, when the end of this game comes, and it comes to every single one of us, all we could say at that point of time is how much did we actually treasure that game we
Yeah.
played. And so I feel like the game metaphor sometimes is like a very useful way to remind ourselves of this true purpose of what we are doing, whether it's in business or in life.
Yeah.
And then ultimately thinking about, okay, I'm not enjoying this so much at the moment. Like when those days come, like why is it that it's not so fun? And sometimes it's not fun because we get attached to some trivial or temporary things that come and go. But ultimately, the purpose, if the purpose was to enjoy, then we can actually have a different perspective, be a bit more stepped out of it, as if this is just you are looking over the board game and you are just this piece that you are using right now, and you're not even attached to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Also to end our conversation for the book interview. Yeah, thank you so much, Masami. That was beautiful. You shared so much wisdom and you just radiate so much positive energy and vibes, and it's really contagious. And I'm sure that people reading the interview and seeing the video will have found some sparks that find soil to continue growing with them or to activate what is already there. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the book. And thank you so much also for offering this opportunity to co-create something, because everybody that is buying the book in whatever version is also contributing to your foundation and your organization Buy One, Give One, and is contributing to a better world, because the causes that I have chosen are empowerment for women and for girls, which is the focus that I have in my mission. And so by developing ourselves, by sharing the positive things, we are also contributing to not the luck, but to helping the underrepresented, the women that cannot buy these books, the women that don't have access to internet to learn and to grow, but that have this positive intention also to contribute to a better world and to take care of their families and their communities, and to be a role model for their families and their communities. And it's absolutely beautiful what you're doing there. I know you do a lot more than that in B1G1 and with your other activities, but being able to contribute with my tribe, it just fills my heart with joy. Thank you for making that possible. Wonderful.
Thank you. And thank you for all you do.
You too. Beautiful. All right. How was this for you, Masami?
Yeah, great. Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation, and yeah, it went to places I didn't know that we were going.
I always try to go to places. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very lovely. For the message for the event on the 15th, is there anything specific that you would like me to cover?
Absolutely. Actually, nothing really. It would be like if you would be, what we will certainly do. I have somebody who is presenting the whole event.
Yeah.
So we would certainly do a short introduction about you.
Mm.
Basically, what I have done here for the interview. And then I can just play the video where you maybe address the people that are attending the book launch party, and telling a little bit more about Buy One, Give One. And then let that video run. Just, I would say, I don't know, whatever your inspiration brings, how important it is to co-create, or how important it is to have these little initiatives, even if you feel, because sometimes I feel that even if you feel that you are not contributing a big deal, it is once again about the intention and about raising the consciousness about what we can do. And if everybody just contributes a little bit, the result is a lot. And because I would also like to involve the people that are on the book launch party and after, to understand, if we buy the book, not only are we growing ourselves, but we help other people grow. And that might also be one of the reasons to do this. Yeah,
Okay.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me record that separately, and then
Yeah.
I will send something over to you.
Wonderful. If it would be possible to send that by September 11th or 12th, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
I can
I
have,
might actually do that by the end of this week,
oh,
because
that would be
I
amazing.
started traveling from next week.
Yes.
I may not be as available, so now is the
Yeah,
chance. So
that would
I will
be.
do something very simple though.
Yes, of course, it's not, yeah, but I know you have to go through the energy and to make it, but it's just to have them see your face and
Yes.
your energy and your vibration, and have them understand a little bit more about what it is. And because if you understand what it is, you not love it.
Mm,
That's for me.
great,
I was at a
great.
trust conference in London many years ago, where I forgot the name of the man that was introducing it. But I was sitting there listening. He was on stage, and I said, yeah, this is absolutely. And since then, I've been following it. And I think
Mm,
that more people should be aware of this. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. No, no,
So
thank you for
yeah,
what you're doing. So
thank
looking
you. And
forward to your
yeah,
recording and
yeah,
wishing you safe travels. And
yes.
if there's a possibility, I will send you a link. If there's a possibility just to show up in whenever during
Mm,
those two
mm,
hours,
yeah.
just come and say hi. That would be a
Okay.
surprise. That
Yeah,
would
you
be
can just still invite me anyway, and then we'll
yes.
see.
And if you register, Masami, you will also get the recording. So
Mm,
I would invite you to register anyway, then you can see what we have been doing this
okay.
event.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you
Great.
so much with a lot of gratitude and much love. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you. Bye.
we will stay connected. Take
Yes.
care. Bye, Masami. Bye bye.
Bye.